Here's a little story that comes from our friends over at Minnesota Public Radio, which frankly has surprised me. It suggests that only a small fraction of Minnesotans are using cannabis despite legalization. So even though it's now been more than a year since Minnesota legalized the adult use of cannabis, only a small percentage disclosed that they've recently partaken. The latest NPR News, KARE11, and Minnesota Star Tribune poll shows that only 14% of respondents reported consuming marijuana or THC-infused hemp products in the last month. But the poll also found a majority of those surveyed support legalization of cannabis on a national level. Mason-Dixon Polling and Strategy conducted the poll of 800 likely voters between September 16th and 18th. The poll's margin of sampling error is plus or minus 3.5 percentage points. Minnesota made it legal for adults 21 and older to possess, use, and even grow their own marijuana for personal consumption as of August 2023. But so far, it isn't broadly available for sale to customers, as the sale sets rules for phases of the production, transport, and retail phases. The White Earth Nation dispensary, I'm not even going to even try to say that, was the second dispensary to open in the state last year because tribal communities operate apart from the state's regulatory structure. CEO Zach Wilson said the poll's low cannabis use numbers could be because of accessibility and education. Quote, depending on where you're at in the state, as far as convenience and ability to get our product, ease of access may not be the best yet, either, with it only being on reservations. Wilson said he thinks once dispensaries open statewide, the number of people using cannabis will increase. He said there's been a steady flow of customers at the White Earth dispensary. We're definitely seeing a good influx month over month as far as new patients, new clients. We're seeing 4,000 to 5,000 people a month right now selling to. The poll results show that 61% of those polled support national legalization. It says that only 1 in 7 voters have consumed marijuana or other THC. Yeah, 14% said yes, 85% said no. The article continues, but frankly, I'm really surprised. I do think, though, that there could be some error due to the fact this is self-reported. Even though it's legal, maybe people aren't comfortable sharing on the record, even though it's obviously a random poll. Maybe they're not comfortable sharing that they're consuming cannabis. I know some people still like to keep it on the low. And I'm just shocked because the tap rooms and the bars and the liquor stores are selling massive quantities of hemp THC drinks. At least I thought they were. Maybe the novelty's worn off. Maybe the aggressive price point of the drinks, it's $20 to $25 for a 4-pack. Maybe the allure has worn off. People are just like, meh, whatever. I don't know, but something tells me that these numbers aren't correct. Just knowing how people love their THC and their hemp here in the land of 10,000 lakes. What do you guys think?
I think until we see some policy that comes out that keeps people from losing their jobs for it, we're going to see people who aren't comfortable admitting to their own personal use.
That's a really good point, Jenny Beth.
Yeah, very fair.
I mean,
very, very fair.
And I just think, old habits die hard. A lot of people just, I'm not admitting to that. Just want to just keep that whole same whatever. So I'm not mad at that. But I agree with you, Rachelle, that the numbers are definitely skewed in this. And I think you might be right about that. I think maybe the whole buzz is wearing off. Told you.
I don't know, but Jenny Beth's point, though, if some rando called me on the phone and was like, do you smoke weed? Even if they said they were a poll, I would automatically assume they were a snitch because I'm such a paranoid person.
They're cops,
you're probably high, so you're more paranoid. You're like, shit, are you looking?
Who's calling me? How do I know my phone number?
I could see that. That would be funny. Yeah, no, I would tell them no on the phone too. Like, who are you? You don't even know who you're talking about.
Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
Just because you identified yourself as a poll worker, there's no way to really prove that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, my initial response to this is that, the numbers are low, but back in the day when I was an undergrad studying criminal justice, the number was 8%. And if 8% of your population violates a prohibition, you can't enforce it. Now, this is basically double that amount, even in a low numbers poll. What it tells me is that the government has to understand that no matter what you try to do now, there's more people smoking weed than you can ever hope to try and enforce going backwards from this. And I think across the nation, every state, if you got people to actually admit to you how many were smoking weed, it's going to be well over the 8% threshold that you can't enforce these prohibitions. I hope someone is listening somewhere to people, whether they vote or whether they vote with buying and smoking weed, that marijuana prohibition has no future. It's got to stop.
Yeah, Ben Court, you jerk. Sorry.
But, you know, I'm kind of thinking about it more. Like, is 14% low? Like, isn't the national average? I feel like we just wrote about this. I feel like the national average of people who consume once a month is still less than 20%. So it's not 8, but I know it's higher than that. I'll have to look it up real quick. But I feel like maybe it's on par with the average. I don't know. Maybe it just feels low because it seems like people love weed in Minnesota. I don't know.
Well, and you go to all the weed spots, so you see all these people buying it, and so you're not going to the places that they're not buying any weed to like.
Go to the Juicy Lucy spots and see how count the red eyes and pull them that way.
For sure. Oh, Matt's. We love Matt's. Shout out Matt's Bar.
So good.
Oh, okay. So I was wrong. According to this survey, 40% of Americans use marijuana products at least once a week. 15% said they consume daily. Okay, so color me surprised.
Look at that. Look at the 40%. That's pretty high.
That's from a different. But then another Gallup survey said 17% of adults report they smoke marijuana. Oh boy, now I'm all confused. I don't know what to think.
Well, I mean,
we're not counting the cool moms that take a gummy at night and giggle with their girlfriends, and like, you know, that I think a lot of people don't think about it because they're maybe asking the question in the wrong way. It's like, do you use products with cannabinoids in it? And they're like, a cannabis what? No, just hemp gummies. All right, Brad. Like, I don't know. I think there could be some confusion in the way that they're asking these questions, but also like, just why are we asking? Because it seems like a prohibitionist push. Absolutely. Like, okay, well, we legalized it. They're still not using it. Well, sales show otherwise. Tax revenues show otherwise. So it's going somewhere. I don't care if they're buying it and flushing it down the toilet. I'm guessing that's not what's happening though.
Yeah.